Well, hello there, and welcome back to more Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. In the last episode, we were just a normal kid having a normal snowball fight in a normal area. And then we decided to read, and now we're in a completely different world. And that's why defund reading. I'm kidding. But for real, in the last episode, we hung out with our friends. We opened a mysterious book that nobody could read because it was in a strange language. And now we are in a new world where we can battle. And there's magic and other creatures. And it's pretty darn cool. And let's hop right back into it. We placed a new world. And so we're actually going to go into the pub and just... first of all, let's start with some rumors. Heard the latest rumors. Now, obviously this list is going to be a bunch of things, a bunch of helpful tools that you'll want to read that will basically give you an insight to everything. We're not gonna get into them just yet. We will though. We will come back for them. There's going to be a lot more that's going to appear on the list, so I kind of want to just let it build up and we'll take it like all at once, but also bit by bit, as I suppose that they're relevant. We are going to go in and take a mission, the only one that's there, which is going to be herb picking. It's looking for people to gather the fever reducing herb Muscomali. Let me tell you something, I'm not doing that again. On the Giza Plains, no experience necessary. Okay, so there will be missions where you'll need items in order to be able to take on the mission. You can get, so sorry, I sped through that. Sometimes missions, you'll need items to actually do them. Sometimes you won't. It just depends. As you can see, there's going to be a fee, like we have to pay him for even having the mission to give to us. All we have to do is win the battle, and we're just gonna accept the conditions. There will be times where obviously different missions will require different items, or some missions won't require items. It varies. I'm gonna let you know right now, I'm not an expert in this game. Disclaimer, I'm just here to have fun. Pretty much with every other game that I play. I hit my hand. Do y'all hear that? I feel like every time I hit my hand on something or I hit something, I'm like, oops. And in the video, it's like I didn't hear anything. But yeah, we're just here to have fun. Goopal, you find any good missions? Yeah, there was one that seemed easy enough. We can start. When can we start? Right away. Let's get ready. I want to make your first mission a success. Yay. So the mission's gonna take place all the way down here, but before we do that, because I don't think we necessarily have like a time limit or anything on that, let's look over our party. Again, we're here to have fun, but one aspect about this game that I'm pretty familiar with is the different jobs and the different kind of titles and breeds that there are to our characters, and how everybody does something different, just like in Pokemon in these games. And we'll choose Matthias here. Just like in Pokemon, some players will have higher physical attack, some will have higher special attack. In this case, it's weapon attack versus magic power. There is defense and resistance. Defense is, your defense against a physical attack or an attack with an item like a weapon, and then your resistance is going to be how well you are able to take a hit from like a magic, a spell, if you will. And so it doesn't necessarily vary by race or by character, because they're considered to be like different races, if you will. And they're all going to be different. There is a but there's changing jobs. They all have like different jobs that they can do. Some are masters of others. It depends. I actually do want to change some jobs. I don't have the best idea of the setup. I have a pretty solid idea, but the thing that you kind of want to keep in mind is that later on in your journey, you can get upgraded versions of these jobs. Like, for example, White Mage, Archer, Fencer. There are upgrades to those. And slight spoiler alert, there you have a chance of being able to get an upgraded version just added onto your team. So that's not to say don't try to upgrade the people that you've been with the entire time, the characters that you've had for this entire time. It just, keep in mind, if you go online and you research like the different characters and how to upgrade them, and I will say that there are some that require a lot of mastering different skills. Keep in mind that it's a possibility that you can just get that job that you're trying so hard to upgrade for. Again, circling back, that does not mean that you don't level up your people to get to that job, because you're not guaranteed to get the upgraded version. So you want to try to get there, but maybe don't try to get every single upgraded job. I would say pick a few and just go from there. Since I had this screen pulled up, I will have some screenshots of the upgraded versions and different jobs and what they do and fun little things like that, because I think it would be I think it'll be fun. I think it'd be cool. We are actually going to change jobs. I do want her to be a fencer. I don't even know if we have items for that. One thing I will say that took me forever to realize: if you change the job of a character, make sure you equip them with items, because as you saw, all the items that I had on Hazel when she was an archer unequipped when she became a fencer. So if we went into battle right now, she'd have nothing. So be very, very, very careful and mindful. I don't have an item for her. I don't have a weapon, rather. Just be very, very mindful that you equip your people. I actually want you to be an archer, I think. I do. Lizzo. We got a singer. You do not have to follow what I'm doing. I will go ahead and let you know a little bit what I'm doing right now. Marsh is a soldier. He can be all these other jobs. I will tell you though, spoiler alert, if I change him to an archer, his sprite does not change. I don't feel like showing because it'll unequip on my islands, but I promise you, if I make him an archer, just his job title changes. He will not change a sprite. So just letting you know. Same for our Moogle friend here, our Moogle buddy. You could change him. His sprite does not change. He always looks like that. Everybody else, as you can see, will change their sprites because they're kind of side characters. We're pretty much main. Like you can see, we can't have Mont leave the clan, but I can have Lizzo and Chad and Matthias and Hazel leave the clan. We're not going to do that, but just letting you know. So I am going to go ahead and equip some items for us. Another thing that you want to make sure that you do is pick abilities. So right now I can use items. You want to make sure that you have these turned on. Otherwise you just won't be able to activate certain abilities. Again, we're just here to have fun. I can't really necessarily tell you the ins and outs of it all, but these are things that I've picked up on that I don't want maybe a first-time player to miss, because it's incredibly annoying when you go into battle and you're like, oh, I bought an item or I changed jobs, and you literally can't do anything with it because you forgot to hit the button. But yeah, so this is the item shop. Sorry. So this is the item shop. You can buy items, you can sell items. Be mindful, if you're holding the item you want to sell, you can't sell it. If you are thinking about selling a bunch of items, I don't want to tell you to just go ahead and unequip everything that way if you want to sell it, but it's not the worst idea, because if you think I don't need this item, but you have a character holding it, you can't just sell it. You have to remember to do that. So I try to do selling in one go and just kind of unequip everything at once, which I'm not going to waste your time showing, but just know I unequip everybody's everything. These are different items for the different classes that you have. See, you have soldiers, you have items for, soldiers and warriors, soldiers and Paldans, which we haven't seen yet, warriors, thieves, and jugglers. There are so many different classes and jobs that they're also really fun to collect them like they're action figures. We will be trying to at least have one character of everything if it's possible, but it's almost not up to us if we're able to do it. I do have a fencer now, so I'm gonna give her an item. As you can see, you're able to also see what the item does and who it's for, because I can't give an item that's for a fencer or underneath it where it says rage, that's a red mage. That's an upgrade ability that we have, upgraded job that we have not seen yet. We'll get there though. But you can't give this item to like a soldier or an archer like we've seen. They essentially won't know what to do with it. So that's just something to keep in mind. You also want to keep in mind that you don't necessarily need to stock up on an item because like it's super strong, because there's a high possibility that you could just get the item from a mission. You know, if you see the item and you want it, definitely go for it. If you're like, I need this right now, go ahead. But there are 3 bows that I could potentially purchase. You know, I could go ahead and go with the strongest one or the second level one, but I could get that in a mission. So we are honestly gonna start small and just work our way up. I like that idea. So all I really wanted was for my fencer to get an item. I feel like I'm yapping away, like talking so much. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our first mission of the video. And when it comes to stuff like me trying to get new items or sell items or, you know, flip around with my party, I won't make you go through that. I'll cut it out. But I just wanted to be able to show it for this time. So we have to fight our way to get the herbs. Be sure to press select to change the laws. You 100% want to check the laws. I feel like this is always the case. You cannot use swords. So when it says forbidden swords, that means that if we have a sword, we will essentially get fined if we use it. Staves are okay. Which I'm also gonna put together something to show you like what the different items are and who they're for. That's a work in progress. But yeah, so our archer's gonna be fine. Marsh isn't gonna be able to do too much because, surprise, surprise, he uses a sword. But there are some cases where an item might look like something and it's not. So for example, I'm trying to think. There is a thief job where they hold like a knife. It swings like a sword and it looks like a sword, but it's a knife. So you just kind of have to be cautious about the items that you use. Did I ever give him an item? I gave him a weapon, right? Okay, cool. One more thing. You want to make sure that all your pick abilities, which I think I showed this, are something turned on, if you will. So everybody in this team is going to have to carry this fight because Marsh is going to kind of have to sit it out. Because I'm not getting penalized. I'm not doing it. We can't use swords. That sucks, but we're not getting penalized. It's just not about to happen. These are going to be like your different enemies. I don't want to tell you the name of this enemy because I don't have it off the top of my head. I want to call her a fairy. I don't think she's a fairy though. We're just gonna wait. I know that I said that there's anything better than just waiting, but I can't reach her. I can't do anything. I'm not gonna waste an item. So we're gonna use a lunge tech, which is an ability for the fencer, and a swarm strike will be able to do about 9 damage and poison. That's not a lot of damage, but hey, we'll take it. And we got a poison. 10 damage and a poison. Not terrible. You're always going to gain experience from an action, and then so is your partner. For me, when it comes to white mages too, I like to heal people up just for no reason because I can. This is again better than doing nothing. And eventually this will be ridiculously overpowered. I'm going to be that player that is going to heal the mess out of everybody when we don't need it. Because why not? These are goblins. 100% though. I do know that. I at least know that. These first fights are honestly going to be pretty slow. Also fights, I don't want to boost. Also, these fights could take time just because you have so many players that are moving. Perfect, a knockout. We get 8 experience and we get a judge point for knocking a player out. Oh, one thing I mentioned that I can show, I think. So you get a judge point by knocking out an opponent. And earlier you saw that it was forbidden to use swords, but it was recommended to use staves. You also get judge points for doing the recommended. And so, for example, my 2 magic casters use staves. But the thing about that, can I battle tech? We're just gonna heal in the corner because we'll still get experience, even though we don't need it. Because if we would have waited, we would have got nothing. At least we healed, we gained 10 experience points. It's better than nothing. So our magic casters have staves. However, firing off magic does not count as using the staff. We'd have to physically like hit our opponent with the staff in order to get the judge point for using staves. That was considered black magic. So that does not count, which I think is crazy because honestly, if you're a magic caster, you probably, what's our monk tech? Whirlwind, that'll hit in all 4 directions. But obviously, since we have a friend behind us, we don't want to do that. So we're just going to straight up attack. The criticals that we be getting, godsend. Because who let you be that strong? I'm glad about it. Thank you. But that was hilarious. But yeah, there's so many moving pieces to these fights that they can kind of take a while. I'm showing this one because it's an actual mission. There will be times where we can take on like extra missions. I won't worry about showing those just because they will take longer. And we don't want that. Just like running into a wild battle. You just don't need to show it. So I will cut out certain things. But for the fights where it's like, this is a mission that we have to do. So I'm going to show it. I should probably get a list of things to talk about. I'll start listing off the enemy names and the different jobs. That'll be the next episode. I'll have like the list playing as I'm talking about it as these missions are just going. For the beginning ones, there isn't really much strategy to have. I mean, I would just honestly recommend trying to use your abilities as much as possible, because the more you use your abilities, the more the faster you can master them, which just means that you can move on to another ability. So for instance, with our archer here, the ability that we have with our certain item, the bow, is we have a boost, so we can strengthen our next attack. When we move up to the char bow, which is going to be the next strongest one, once we master this bow, which is the boost, we can go up to the next one and we can use all the abilities that we've mastered, regardless of if we're holding the item or not, which is really, really cool. And that's what we're going to go for. That's why you want to master as many abilities as you can. There will be instances where you can only use certain abilities if you're that particular job, which we can show later, or I can show you later, we'll get into later. But more than anything, you want to master as much as you can. And we missed. It's okay. I'm just gonna have everybody just be here. Let's try Whirlwind. Perfect. So that did hit. And we're gonna face him. Our back is to him. I probably should have turned around, but it's fine, because now he has a good shot. That was a pretty strong hit. But are we gonna heal that? 100%. Because that's what we do. Perfect. I was gonna say that there might even be more missions that I'll cut out, but there are missions that don't really pertain to the story, and then there are missions that do. So I think maybe in order, because again, there's a lot of moving pieces to these fights. We're moving what, 6 people, and then the 5 enemies that are moving on their own, so they can drag out. You are just gonna have to sit here, my friend, and just keep on healing yourself. Just keep on gaining experiences, because again, I'm not getting penalized. He uses a sword. I'm not getting penalized for it. I'm just not doing it. We're gonna, I didn't mean to hit status. You can hit status to see what's going on with you in the middle of the fight. You cannot change items once you've started a battle. So that's why, again, it's very important to get yourself situated. Maybe in the beginning, continue to check your party before you go in, because if you do not, you will go into the fight and you're stuck. You're just stuck like that. So very, very, very important. Make sure he has 1 HP. Check your team. Again, it's like you get like up to 6 people depending on the mission, so you want to be careful. Oh, we could have got a double knockout. I will say though, if we would have knocked both of them out, we still would have only got 1 judge point. And if you, so again, how I mentioned, if you use a recommended ability, you get a judge point that way. A myth again? How is he so slick? If you use a recommended ability and you knock out an opponent, you only get 1 judge point. So keep that in mind. Judge points are useful. They can be used to do some pretty sick things, like just, upping abilities, which we will get into a little bit later. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend stacking them up, but considering that we can't do anything with them now, sure, stack them. But when it gets to a certain point, use them, because you'll be able to use them to have stronger abilities. Oopsie, not fight. Please, I do not want to be penalized. The fights will get faster. We're just not doing that much damage, and neither are they. So, but they will get faster. We will be able to do more damage. It just comes with time. I could also have stronger items, as you saw in the store. Some items we have access to, some we don't. So it is truly on me. That's all of them. So I might take another visit to the store to maybe up my items. I kind of like to go bit by bit, because there are certain abilities that I do just like having. What were we looking for? Some kind of medicinal herb. That girl's all over the place. I'm not saying that again. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it to myself. Read it in your head. Yeah, there's some right there and over there. I used to pick it all the time when I was little. The info fee for this mission was cheap, wasn't it? Well, it was pretty cheap, I guess. That figures. Still, it's probably good to start slow. Let's pick some herbs and get back to town. Herb picking sounds super cute. I'm supposed to be going to a farmer's market here soon, and I'm kind of excited. Okay, now we have a new area that we can place. I don't necessarily have any tips or tricks for where to put areas. I just say put them where you want to put them. Where I will be putting things will have no rhyme or reason. It's just going to be wherever I feel like it. I just want to put them there. I will recommend though, I will recommend putting areas relatively close together, which I should have shown, because once areas are placed close to each other, you're able to get treasure hunts. And when you get treasure hunts, you're able to get more items. But next time we are able to get a new area, I'll show that. But I think that'll be all. We got to see battles, the store, our different characters and stuff like that. Next time we will do more, I promise. This time we just got into like a real fight of our own, like doing our own mission. But next time we'll have more. It's coming along. This I promise you. Thank you so much for joining me though, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.